The Hawaii County Council has made some big decisions since we last had regularly scheduled news programming. Just before the start of the Thanksgiving holiday, during the final business meeting of the current County Council before the newly elected council members take over, the Papaikou Beach Access eminent domain resolution passed its final reading. Now, county lawyers are authorized to begin with the lawful taking of the popular beach access to the Papaikou Mill Beach. Area residents, especially surfers and fishermen, have objected to the path being gated and access restricted. Owners Chalrene Prickett and James Waugh said that they are the ones who made the current trail and that they have the right to restrict the access at that point. Not all council members agreed with the resolution. Some council members wanted to see the owners and the community work together to settle the situation. But others wanted to see the resolution pass through, like Brittany Smart, who offered this opinion during the first reading of the resolution in Hilo.
The neighbor said that they owned it.
I'm sure. Oh, no.
I'm sorry, Ms. Brickett. I am still talking, but that is, I asked that in the public meeting, and I think it was even recorded by Big Island Video News, and I did talk to Mr. Shropshire after we walked around the corner, but when we first got out of the vans and we were sitting there and we were talking on the road, and I remember Mr. Pelago asking you repeatedly, is this a road in limbo? Does the county own this? And it steered a whole section of the conversation for about 15-20 minutes. Who owns this road? And you said we do. Come to find out when we went around the corner that Mr. Shropshire did, and he didn't even know about the alternate plan.
I'm Steve Shropshire. I own the property next door.
Yeah.
This road that we see here is actually owned by the Waughs and the Pritchards. Prickett, sorry. Unlike the road we came in on, which is owned by myself. No, it's a private road. You have an easement, right?
We actually own the bottom section next to
part of it. Yeah, but the first 1,200 feet,
yeah.
right? So anyway, it's just interesting. I never got a phone call. This is brand new news to me. And it's interesting that they would sort of offer my road as part of this resolution.
Oh, no. This is still just very much floating, and we want to see how the community feels about that, Steve. Okay. Of course, you gotta get some, you gotta be on board.
And I think to present it as an alternate route, without even notifying him and just telling the council, hey, this is a possibility. I was willing to consider it, but I gotta tell you, that put the brakes on that when I found out that was going on. Then all of a sudden today, we hear for the first time that we are willing to go to the Open Space Land Commission for the bottom part of the land. It's my understanding they tried to get it prioritized with the punk a couple years ago, but the punk wasn't willing to do so because there was no willing seller. All of a sudden we're here today on an eminent domain, and we hear that the bottom land, we may now have a willing seller. Great, let's get it on the punk fund. That doesn't mean we have to stop this. Maybe that's another benefit, Mr. Yagong, that this process has moved forward, but I'm really disappointed that it comes here at first reading in order for that to come up. The last point I want to make is you mentioned that the access should be in a different spot, and I asked you before at the end of the public meeting, why? So simply, why? In my mind, the reason I asked you that is in my mind, okay. And I'm going to say this a little bit. You claim you created the trail. I'm not going to argue that there may be improvements to the trail, but if you were concerned about privacy and security and whatnot, why would you create or improve the trail right there, but now say that the access should be in a different spot? I'm not quite, my time's running out, so these are just points I want to get across. Like I said, I believe them to be superfluous.